In this video, we will be finding the perimeter and area of quadrilaterals and composite figures. We've already talked about how to find the area of a rectangle. The formula is area equals length times width. And a square is a rectangle, so we could use that same formula. Or, since all the sides are the same, if we call the side length S, we could also say that the area is the side length squared, which is the same as the length times the width. In this video, we're going to focus on the area of a parallelogram and a trapezoid. A parallelogram is a four-sided figure in which both pair of opposite sides are parallel. So the top and bottom would be parallel, and the left and right sides would also be parallel. A rhombus is a quadrilateral that is in the parallelogram family, but it also has all four sides congruent. And then a trapezoid is a four-sided figure that has one pair of opposite sides parallel, and the other pair of opposite sides are not parallel. These two sides here would not be parallel. So let's talk about how to find the area of these figures. We'll start with a parallelogram. The formula for the area of a parallelogram is just base times height. The base is one of the sides of the figure, so this side right here would be the base, and the height is perpendicular to the base connecting two of the parallel sides. And they have to form a right angle, so this side and that height always have to form a right angle. So looking at this example, I'm going to start with the area, base times height. The base would be this side down here, 12, and the height perpendicular to the base would be 6. So I do 12 times 6, which is 72, and because it's area, I use square units, 72 square centimeters. And then for the perimeter, I just add up all the sides. So opposite sides are congruent. This would be 12 centimeters up here as well. And so I just do 8 plus 12 plus 8 plus 12, and that gives us 40 centimeters. Now let's take a look at a trapezoid. The formula for the area of a trapezoid is 1/2 times the height times the sum of the bases. Sometimes we write the formula as A equals 1/2 H times B1 plus B2, where whether you think of it as B1 and B2 or A plus B, those are the two sides that are parallel. So these two parallel sides are your bases. Sometimes we call them B1 and B2 instead of A and B, but you can do it however you like. And then the height is the distance between them, perpendicular actually to both of those bases. So when we find the area, we don't use the sides that are not parallel. We don't need those at all for the area. We would need them for perimeter. So in this trapezoid, starting off with the area, I'm going to do 1/2 times the height, which is 13. That would be the height. Times the sum of the bases, B1 and B2, or you could call them A and B, whatever you like. And so it's the two parallel sides. I add them together inside parentheses, 32 plus 46. And then we just plug that in our calculator and we get 507, its area, so square feet. And then for the perimeter, we're just going to add up all the sides. So I'm going to add 13.4, 32, 17, and 46. I add them together and I get 108.4 feet. And notice I did not include the height in the perimeter. This inside length is not part of the perimeter. And now we're going to find the perimeter and area of composite figures, which is multiple figures put together. And so first let's work on the perimeter. I need to be able to find all the sides, so I'm going to try and figure out this side right here, which is going to be the sum of this side and this side. So I can add 3 plus 6 and I get 9 feet over here. And then to find this missing side up top, that's going to be the sum of this side right here and this side right here. So if I add those together, 13 plus 3 gives me 16 feet. And so for the perimeter, I'm just going to add up all those sides around the edge. So I'll start with the 3, and then the 16, the 9, the next 3, 6, and 13. And adding those all together, we get 50 feet. And now for area, we're going to do it a little differently. We're going to divide the figure into multiple shapes. I could divide this into 2 rectangles. I could either divide it right here, or I could also divide it right here. And either way works, so I guess I'll stick with this way. So I'll make that a little darker. I have 2 rectangles in this figure, and I need to find the area of both of them and add them together. So I'll start with this one over here. The area of a rectangle is length times width, so I need to find its length and width. One of its dimensions is going to be 3. And the other, I have to be careful when I select either the 13 or the 16. Which of those is actually the length of the rectangle? I'm going to choose the 13, the shorter one, because this rectangle only goes to there. So 13 times 3 is 39 square feet for this part. And then this other rectangle over here, this guy is, I need to do its length times width. And one of the sides is 3. And the other, I've got a 6 or a 9. This time I need that longer side, the 9. So 3 times 9 is 27 square feet. So the area of this part is 27 square feet. And then for the area of the composite figure, I add those together. 39 plus 27, which gives us 66 square feet. And here's one more composite figure. We're going to find the perimeter and area. Let's start with perimeter. I'm just going to add up all the sides, and I think they're all given. So I'm adding the 48, the 15, the 25, the 25, the 15. I don't need that 22 for the perimeter. So 48, 15, 25, 25, and another 15 gives us 128. And now for the area, I want to divide this up into 2 simpler shapes. I'm going to divide it into a triangle and a rectangle. So the rectangle, its area is going to be length times width, and that's going to be 48 times 15, which gives us 720. So the area of this rectangle is 720 square meters. Now for the triangle, I need to do area equals 1/2 base times height. So the base of this triangle is going to be this whole side right there, which is 48. But I also need its height perpendicular to the base. And for that, I need to use this 22 that's given over here. That whole distance from bottom to top is 22. I know that from here to here, is 15. If the whole thing is 22, I can do 22 minus 15 and get 7, and this part right here would be 7. And that's going to be the height of my triangle. So now I do 1/2 base times height for that triangle. 1/2 times 48 times 7, which gives me 168. And so I add the 168 and the 720, and we get 888 square meters.